Secretary McDaniel, would you start the first roll call, please?
President Tillman.
Here.
Vice President Seeley. Here. Treasurer Todd.
Here.
Parliamentarian Hicken. Here. Senator Lunsford. Here. Senator Jawad.
Here.
Senator Job. Senator Parrish. Here. Senator Jacobs. Here. Senator Schwab.
Here.
Senator Allure. Senator Florick. Senator Freshar. Here. Senator Nagarajan. Here. Senator Shaka. Senator Bell. Senator Method.
Here.
Senator John.
Here.
Senator Sweetland.
Here.
Senator Camarillo.
Here.
Senator Meek. Senator Robertson. Here. Senator Romero. Here. Senator Adams.
Here.
Senator Daniel. Senator Dukes.
Here.
Senator Farouk, she's here. Microphone on the word, gotcha. Senator Jackson.
Here.
Senator Johnson.
Here.
Senator Catherwood. Senator Morrison.
Here.
Senator Mosley.
Here.
Senator Agudello.
Here.
Senator Strong. Here. Senator Copeland.
Here. At this point, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes for last week. Senator Sweetland.
Second.
All those who approve the minutes say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Any abstentions? Is there anyone here for open forum? At this point, we have Vice President of the Marketing and Communications, Mr. Lucas Roebuck, and he will be talking to us. I'll let him set up his presentation and we'll get started on that.
Well, good afternoon, evening. So good to see you guys. My schedule, what you guys care about. All right. So mostly I'm here to have a conversation with you guys. I have some slides that I have collected from various and sundry presentations. I've been doing a lot of presentations. I started here about 2 months ago. I think I'm the first vice president exclusively in charge of marketing in the history of the university. I think the last vice president who was kind of sort of in charge of marketing, some exclusivity was over 10 years ago. And as Dr. Tidwell may have told you, I think it was here last week, you know, it's one of his initiatives that was important to him was to get the marketing, the brand strategy, and the community engagement of the university, kind of bring it up to the next level. And so I kind of wanted to briefly go through with you probably some boring stuff you don't care about, some things that I'm doing, but you may, I could be surprised. But then mostly I want to hear what questions you guys have about our marketing direction, and hopefully be able to answer some of them, and then possibly even get some input. So one of the things that's important, as you can see here on the slide, the beautiful orange themed hammer, building a strategic marketing culture. That's kind of what I'm doing. And so basically, as we think about marketing, as I think about marketing, the philosophy I bring is that there's three fundamental truths that kind of dictate. You know, you have this marketing is this big apparatus. You know, we have graphic designers, and we're hiring a video producer, we're web developers, writers, marketing people, administrative support. You got VPs, all these people. It's this great, huge bureaucratic operation. And so, but what guides us, and what are the fundamental philosophies that are kind of putting this in place? And so I kind of have three truths I try to come back to as I think about how we make decisions and how we decide to prioritize our resources, et cetera. So the first one truth is that the purpose of marketing is to support the mission of the university. Now, for me personally, so what's the mission of the university? I think that 80 to 90% of the mission of the university happens in the relationship between you and your professors. Some of it happens between you and maybe a student, like maybe your RD, resident director, if you guys have those in your dorms. Maybe if you're on athletic team, your coach, and somebody. But the mission of the university, the creating these seeds of student success.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So, hi, it's me. So creating these, that's the mission. And so everything that I do, so every time we say, hey, let's do this new initiative, let's update this website, let's look at the logo, let's whatever we're going to do, we got to come back to, is this supporting the mission of the university? We don't do stuff just to do it. Okay, that's not why we're here. We don't want to do that. And so we want to make sure that the marketing supports the mission of the university, and the mission of the university, the vision of it, you probably heard, is to be the education economic leader of East Texas. And the way that pans out in the actual practice and the actual mission statement from the vision and mission is we talk about student success. You guys go on and you become great alumni. You help, if you stay in East Texas, hopefully some of you will stick around East Texas and you'll help the economy, bringing educated workforce, all sorts of wonderful things. And hopefully you'll go on and you'll have very successful careers and very successful lives, in part because of what you acquired while you're here at University of Texas at Tyler. And so marketing has to serve that. And at the point that it doesn't, I got to go, wait a second, we're kind of growing a little too big for our britches there. The second principle is here's a fundamental thing about marketing communication is it's really interesting is that if I were addressing, if I were a neurosurgeon up here and I was telling you about neurosurgery, you guys have any pre-med people in here? So maybe some of you might have some clue or something to really contribute. Most of you be like, So I could pick a discipline, any number of a specific discipline, and I could tell you about this discipline, and you guys be like, oh, that's great. I really don't know. You're obviously the expert in it. So when it comes to marketing communication, though, the reality is that, yes, I have a lot of experience, but everybody is a communicator. At the very least, we all are consumers of communication, right? We watch commercials, we get online, we get on social media, we see advertisements are mailed to us or print things, we see posters in the hallway. We all consume communication all the time, and that makes us all, at the very least, a focus group of one, right? And so it's really important for me to say, yes, I will bring my expertise and my experience or whatever, but one of the great things about my job is in marketing communication is understanding that everyone that I come in contact with can help me be a wiser communicator, right? It's a huge resource, and so it's incumbent upon me to listen to what people have to say and understand the opinions. And you might say, hey, I think orange is the ugliest color in the world, okay? And I'm like, okay, who cares what you think? But then you might tell me, and then you might tell me, and then you might tell me, and suddenly you kind of have this crowdsourced wisdom for marketing communications. So I think that's really interesting. So marketing for me then is communicating the right message to the right people to inspire the right actions, right? And so we want to get a message to somebody, and so they'll go do something, right? And that's all marketing is. And you guys know what motivates you. You guys know what made you come to UT Tyler, right? You guys know and so that's all marketing it is. And so I don't want to get outside of that either, right? I don't want to lose focus on that. The third principle, and this one I think is really important, and there was a discussion, I can't remember if it actually made the SGA, but I know I saw some stuff on Twitter, and someone said, why is the president focusing on brand? The president should not be focusing on brand. Why is this so important to him? And I wanted to, immediately want to hop back onto Twitter and reply, say, well, actually the president doesn't spend all his time thinking about the brand. I can tell you, I really, sometimes it's hard for me to, even though I'm a vice president, to get in and see him, right? So he's thinking about other things too, plenty of other things. But again, this goes back to the first principle, is that marketing doesn't exist for its own sake, and brand doesn't exist for its own sake, right? The reason why we have brand is because it increases the value. A good brand increases the value of everything that touches UT Tyler. Probably the most tangible thing for you guys is at some point you guys are going to graduate, I hope, right? Everyone feel good about that so far? Yeah, okay, good. So you're going to graduate, and then and some of you guys expect to get a job out of college, and you're going to go and you're going to be competing with other people. And some people are going to have a University of Phoenix degree, a Webster's degree, something, but some people might say this is more degree mill. Some people might have a Harvard degree, right? Well, where does the UT Tyler fit in that mix? University of Phoenix and some of these other for-profit institutions have a certain brand-ish problem, in my opinion, right? Their degrees are seen as less. You know, you have a Yale degree or a Harvard degree, hey, that's an Ivy League degree, that has great brand power. And so it's important that the university strategically thinks about brand management, because we want your degrees to be valuable. And it just doesn't happen. And it's a lot of moving pieces and parts, but part of it is being intentional about it and saying, hey, what are we doing to improve the brand? Because that's just one way. It also, too, when we want to go out and we want to build a new building, or we want to maybe get some new athletic facilities, we need to fundraise for it. A good brand helps us to do that too, because people want to be involved with, a donor might want to be involved with an organization or a brand they feel is succeeding or is a winner. And the brand helps manage that. So I know at some level there is an idea saying, hey, you're kind of, why are you wasting your time on this? And I understand that. And if the first one wasn't true, that the purpose of marketing wasn't about mission, then I would agree. But as long as we keep that first part true, we know what we're doing, and we go to the third, we say, hey, we got to remember that the brand value changes everything. So I'd like to think that, I think one way that I think about it is, at least for the last 3 decades, you go into a store and you get 2 identical shoes, identical pairs of tennis shoes, athletic shoes, right? And then you put a Nike swoosh on one of those shoes and suddenly you can sell for $50 more, right? That's a real difference, and it's true. And we all do it. We all do it. We all go, this box of Raisin Bran is probably exactly the same as this box of Flakes and Raisins, right? But for some reason, there's a brand value to it, and you can go to marketing class and learn all that stuff. And so there's a value to it more, and we're willing to expend more for that brand. And so that's why Dr. Tidwell recognizes, and he may have shared through his cycle of success, but why brand management is an important part of that, and that's why we do the brand. So I don't know if we'll go over all these slides here. So my big work right now is a strategic marketing plan. So right now there's so many people doing marketing efforts. Some of them are good, some of them are not good. The colleges are off doing some things, some programs are doing things, athletics doing this stuff. And so we don't want to tell everyone from the central office what to do. We want to make sure our right hand knows what our left hand is doing. And so we're developing a strategic marketing plan that will kind of go in part and parcel with the overall university strategic plan. So, for example, one of the goals, and the university strategic plan is not finalized yet, but one of the goals of the university strategic plan is saying, hey, what can we do to attract even more high quality students, right? We want to have more high quality students. Not that there's nothing wrong with the current students we have. We want to increase our overall student numbers, right? Well, what can we do to do that? And so then we have to say, from a marketing perspective, then what do we talk about in our marketing? We talk more about the honors program. We talk more about this or the other thing. And so we want to make sure that our strategic marketing plan kind of matches up and supports the overall institutional mission. Anyway, I'll just let you look at this. If you're curious about these things that are actually in the plan, you can ask me afterwards. But anyway, those are some of the stuff. I do want to drill down and do a few of them. That's what's in the plan. So real quickly, brand foundations. This is important, and this is something which at some point, probably in the next couple of months, we may come back to you guys or at least get some student representation on. There's 3 statements we're going to create. One is the brand position, one is the brand promise, and one is the brand aspiration. And I'm curious getting some input from students, but the brand position is really interesting, because that really tells us, well, who are we compared to the other universities, right? How do we position ourselves vis-a-vis UT Austin versus LeTourneau versus TJC versus these other institutions? And so if we don't, as an institution, really identify where we want to be in that, as you look at there must be 200 colleges in Texas, 400 colleges in Texas. There's a lot, and even beyond Texas, because we draw from outside of that. Well, who do we want to be, and how does that position us versus other institution brands? And really, as if you look at the overall strategic plan, really we would say, hey, we want to have the value, the gravity, the seriousness, of any school that's part of the flagship UT system, right? UT is a great brand in and of itself, and it means we have research. It means we're serious, you know, and we have academic quality, right? But we also, you know, kind of say, hey, well, but we also want to have this kind of community, holistic, maybe thing you might find at a smaller liberal arts college, and take those things and kind of live in the space that meshes those things, kind of mash up, if you will, of both those things. That's where we want to be. I know you guys are the students, so you guys would know better than I would, but I think that's what's going on here, right, in your classes and that sort of thing. We kind of have this. We do have the UT, the power of the UT brand, but also there is a concerted effort to kind of build this student community that might be something of akin to more what you might find at a smaller school. And so that's kind of the brand position. The brand promise is really interesting, and that's so important. And I am curious to hear what you guys think about a brand promise. And so the easiest way for me to explain brand promise is this, right? So I bet a lot of you guys eat fast food. I eat way too much fast food. Okay, I admit it. I'm a fast food junkie. I eat way too much fast food. You guys don't have to raise your hand. You guys, I'm sure you guys all do salad at the Met all the time, and that's it. So, so you go to every fast food place has a brand promise. Every place has a brand promise, and a brand promise is that what does that restaurant communicate to you that you expect to happen? What do you expect to happen? So when I go to Chick-fil-A, I'll tell you what I expect to happen at Chick-fil-A. I expect the service to be really, really good, top notch, in fact. In fact, I expect the service to be better than I get at some sit-down restaurants. And I expect the food to be consistently good. It's not like the best food in the world, but I expect it to be consistent, and I expect it to be better than most, right? I'm not going to open up my bag and find that they forgot to put the pickle on my chicken sandwich. I'm not going to do. I would be shocked. I would be shocked if I did that, ever, right? I would be shocked if they messed up my order. I would be shocked if the person who handed me my bag was rude to me, right? Why? Because Chick-fil-A has a brand promise to you guys, everyone, saying, hey, you are going to get good service and quality food, right? And that brand promise is ends up being part of their brand value, because you know what Chick-fil-A doesn't have? It doesn't have a value menu, right? There's no dollar menu in Chick-fil-A. There's nothing. There's no. Why? They don't need it. They don't need it. Now, another place where I used to work, Taco Bell, right? I go to Taco Bell, and I can say this because I used to work there. And if I go to the drive-thru and I open my bag and they get my order right, I'll be like, hey, that's a big win. I'm surprised, right? So Taco Bell, totally different brand promise. You know, now if I go to Taco Bell and they give me they bring it up for me, and I'm like, you know, it's like, this is, you know, $17 or whatever. I'm like, what? This is so expensive. I don't expect to be expensive. I expect to be very economical, right? And a lot of food for a little bit of money, fill you up, right? But they don't, you know, I can't tell you 50% of 50-50 on getting the order right. And, you know, if you tell them leave out the onions, maybe they'll do it, maybe they won't. And sometimes they're friendly, sometimes they're not. But if someone at Taco Bell is rude to you, you're not going to think like, wow, I'm so surprised, right? So I say all that to say, at UT Tyler, one of my jobs is brand management. And what brand management means is making sure that what we communicate in our marketing, our brand promise, is what you guys and everyone else who interacts with us receives, right? So if we say community, if we say, hey, your degree is going to be worth something, if we say this stuff, we better make sure we follow through on it, right? And so we want the promise to match the reality, because when the promise doesn't match the reality, then you have broken brand trust, and that creates hugely dysfunctional organizations. And then it's a death spiral, right? Finally, brand aspiration, and then I'll start taking some of your questions here. Brand aspiration is what Jeff Bezos, I think he said it, the Amazon guy, Jeff Bezos, Amazon guy, I think he said it, or maybe he stole it from somebody else, I don't know. But he said, you know, brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room, right? And so what do people say about UT Tyler? Do they say, hey, it's a phenomenal school. If you have an opportunity to be there, you should be there. You should be engaged with it. If you work there, you're lucky, you know, or do they say, it's kind of a middle of the road, whatever? Or do they say, oh, you know, it's like, why would you even want to go there, right? What do the people say about it? And so we are going to have a brand aspiration. This is what we want people to say about us when we're not in the room. And then we have activities, right? And we try to make sure that happens. Well, how does that happen? So that's the brand foundations. Let's see what else we got. Okay, one quick follow-up on that. You guys, I say, Patty, you are the brand. And the reality is that we can do so much in marketing communications. We can tell a great story. we can say, hey, we have excellent faculty and there's a great community, right? But the reality is that if a student comes here and they find the rest of their fellow students are all numbskulls and the faculty are really horrible, it doesn't matter what we put in the pretty pictures, right? And so the brand is the people and what they do and the experience they have. And this slide was originally made just so you know for people who actually work for the institution. So I'm saying you are the brand to like faculty and staff because they have to perform and do that. And so that's part of the brand experience. But also too, you're the brand for us because hopefully you'll be alumni and you'll go out and you'll say great things about the institution, right? And then you are a brand ambassador. You really are. So I don't know. I had the future of the brand in here. I probably had something brilliant to say, but I forgot. So tell a story. Yeah, don't care about that. Oh yeah. So telling a story really quickly. So one of the things that we do want to do is we want to tell some of the great stories, and I feel like I'm going long here, so I'm going to start talking really fast because I want to get through my slides. So platform development is really important for us, and a platform is a place that we have to tell a story, whether it's the university website, whether it's social media, whether it's the campus itself, the signage on campus, whatever. And so we're working on all the platforms to improve our current platforms, how we tell stories, develop new platforms, and even eliminate underperforming platforms. You guys probably don't care about that too much, but things we're thinking about is, do we start integrating the campus digital signage, right? So we have all these TVs all over campus, all kinds of dumb stuff. Some of it's good stuff. If any of you guys are in charge of the TV, I deny that I said that, even though I guess I'm on live stream now. But so there's great stuff on some of the TVs, some of them, but wouldn't it be nice if we had consistent, uniform, nice stuff all around? And if you wanted to get your message out and an announcement that you can see everywhere. And so we think about platforms and how we communicate. Because remember, if marketing is getting the right message to the right people to do the right action, you have to have a platform to move that message. And so we think about it in a very practical sense, the platforms. And in our strategic plan, we'll talk about every platform we have. And from the buses that drive around with the logos on it, or everything. So. Really quickly, I want to talk about the website. There absolutely is a web update in the works. But as I think about the web, I really think we kind of have 3 websites in one right now. We have a website for prospective students, we have a website for you guys, and then we have a website for faculty, staff, divisions, colleges, and colleagues. And so one of the things that we're going to work on doing is if you guys need to find out how to pay a parking ticket or how to graduate or do that sort of stuff, you shouldn't be going to the home page. You probably should be going to a more unified, and I hate to use this word because I think it's used a lot, a more unified portal where you can go to one place and everything you need is right there, including current messages about what's going on. And heck, maybe you can go there to live stream the SGA meetings or find out what happened. So the students are going to this one place. Maybe, again, I'm just starting the conversation with Dr. Watley, who does our IT, but maybe it's students.uttyler.edu or some one place. And the reason why is because when the prospective students come to the web page, we want them to get the information that prospective students need. And when you guys go to your page, we want you to get the stuff that you need. And then there's all these other, the Office of, Title 47 compliance, and they feel like they need a web page, and so we'll have that for them too. No one will ever visit it, and that's okay. But we'll do that too. But really, the first 2 categories there, making sure that prospective students can find out why they should come to UT Tyler, and making sure our current students can find what they need is probably the 2 most important functions of the website. And so, and you guys know, a lot of you guys, probably is true for you. Certainly, it's true for a lot of students, especially and graduate and students as well. Is you go and a lot of times the first real impression you have of a university is its website, right? I think and that's so much for anything now, right? We go. When I was your age, my first impression of a university was a printed view book I got in the mail, and some of you guys may remember that, but maybe they've been gone by now. I don't know. So I got like 25 printed view books in the mail from these universities. That was my first impression. And then I would call, and then they'd call me in and talk to me or whatever. And so, but now the people are actively going out. They want to learn. They want to see what your best foot is. And so they're going to your webpage. And our webpage needs to be ready for those future students, your future colleagues, and future fellow alumni who are going to come. So, new website is coming. All right, good. I'm done. I've got through the slides. So I bet you guys have some questions. Everything's on the table. Yes.
Can you give some specific examples of how you're going to increase brand awareness on campus?
Oh,
For the campus, not on campus. I apologize.
right. Brand awareness of the campus or on the campus? I'm sorry.
Of the campus.
Like let people know that we're here? Yeah, okay, sure. Some things we're doing that we'll do is, so right now I'm in the process of analyzing our spending, how we spend our budget on advertising, right? We spend a lot of money on newspaper advertising. We spend a lot of money on billboards. We spend a lot of money on traditional media. We do not spend a lot of money on targeted Facebook ads, right? And so you can go to Facebook and you can say, hey, Facebook, I'm gonna buy an ad from you. And so I wanna be on the Facebook feed of everyone who's 18 to, or who's, well, I don't know if you can do teenagers or not, but yeah, 18 or whatever, and who lives in East Texas and who has self-identified themselves as they like biology. And then I'm gonna make sure that this video that we put together about the biology program shows up on your Facebook feed, right? So I think there's a lot, one of the wonderful things about being a marketer in this age is that, and it's kind of a scary thing too, is there's so much more data we have in terms of reaching individuals and trying to, if we can figure out who you are and what you like, we want to get you the information that makes sense to you. So part of that too is also improving and increasing our ability to produce, honestly, videos. Videos are huge, and not this 5-minute video, 15-second videos that you see in front of a YouTube ad, or in front of a YouTube, whatever YouTube webisode you're watching. Those are important, and so how do you communicate the UT Tyler message in 15 seconds? And so we're in the process of hiring a new media producer, and so we are increasing our capacity in the area. I'm actually kind of hoping, I haven't had a chance to reach out yet to our mass comm people, our communication people, and see if there are students who are interested in working on some of those projects as well. I've only been here for a couple months, but so I think we're going to try to absolutely increase our video capacity as well. So. Yes.
There's a question from someone on satellite. He said, does the website meet the HB 2504 requirements, or is that a component of the pending update?
If that's referring to, I'm not familiar with the exact term, if it's referring to the ADA compliance, I don't know. I'm assuming that's referring to ADA, I'm not positive, but American Disability Act. Then the answer, I believe, is yes. We have Robin Kelly is somewhat of an expert in ADA compliance, and she has assured me that we are in compliance. And honestly, as I'm talking about new ideas for the new website, she's always challenging me, saying, well, how are we gonna make that compliant? So I'm not familiar with that specific term, but if that term is referring to ADA compliance, then the answer is yes. To my knowledge, we are in compliance based on what my people have told me. So on that.
I'm sorry, what does that mean?
ADA?
Yes.
So what ADA, Americans with Disability Act. So what that means is like, so if you are visually impaired, okay, and well, one of the things we do is, so if there's a picture of a tree on there, you can't see the tree, but we embed text in the picture that describe the picture. And so there's special software that's available to individuals with various disabilities that they can go in and do that. So I think that's what I'm talking about. If that's something totally different, the HD whatever.
I think he said something syllabus requirements.
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about that. So syllabus requirements and the stuff that is in the academic side of the website, right? The academic, this is not marketing. This is your classroom structure support. That stuff actually isn't me. I don't want to like kick blame on somebody else. But so the stuff that's like your classroom stuff, that's stuff that my team doesn't do, right? So that would be somebody in IT, somebody on that. But if someone wants to email me, lroebuck@uttyler.edu, a specific question, I can find the right person to answer that question. So, and that's one thing we are trying to do is, I do marketing, and so we are trying to separate the marketing part of the website from the student services part of the website. So, yes.
So I'm sure that you're aware that we have somewhat of a disconnect between Swoop and Patriots and all that.
Yeah, I was expecting someone. If someone didn't bring it up, I was going to bring it up, but I was waiting for you guys to.
So that being said, are you going to implement what we have now into the brand that right now, or are you going to try and fix Swoop and Patriots and all that, and then create?
Did anyone ask Dr. Tittle this question last week?
No.
What did he say? I don't want to
Not
answer
to
that.
ask you.
He said to ask me. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good. That's fine.
But
Yeah, well, I can tell you, first let me tell you where I started. So again, I've been here for just over 2 months now. And I'm really pleased to be here, by the way. And I've had a great time. It's been really busy, but everything that when I applied and came and looked here about the community and the quality of the students and the faculty, it's all been borne true. So I'm really pleased about that. So the president gives me the charge, right? He says, hey, there's a dissonance between the Swoop the Eagle, right? Formerly Pat the Eagle, if you go back in history, originally. There's a distance between seeing an eagle and the word patriot, right? And if you are acclimated to it, like our current students are, you don't see the dissonance, but you're used to it. But if it's your first exposure, you think, what? So, the question, and so the president charged to me, the only specific directive he has given to me is to solve the dissonance, right? He wants me to, it doesn't jive, he wants me to solve it. So we will solve it. Now, let me give you a kind of a example of how I solve some, or how the visual imagery that people are accustomed to may or may not be helpful for brand imagery. And I'm not saying this, I'm just giving you some context for where my background is. So where my alma mater and where I used to work, John Brown University, it's a private school, about 3,000 students. That's where I came from. Anyway, so when I got there, they had a logo. So they have this beautiful cathedral building, and in the cathedral they have these kind of arched windows, 3 arched windows in front of the cathedral. And then the mascot was the Eagles, right? And so for the university logo, when I got there, I was there as an alma mater, but then I actually worked there. I graduated from there, but later I came back and was the chief communication officer. The logo was this kind of rainbow colored eagle superimposed over the silhouette of these windows. Right? I don't know if you can kind of picture that or not. And so anyway, and so we kind of said, hey, is it time to refresh the brand or whatever? And so we went out and we went to the alumni, and they're like, oh, we love this logo. We know the cathedral. We recognize this iconic building. It might be like similar to saying the bell tower here, right? We recognize this iconic building, and we love the Eagles because it's our mascot, right? And so we love this logo. And then we said, okay, let's go show it to a group of prospective students in Dallas. And what did the people in Dallas said? What do you think we see this logo? I see a bird flying out of jail. I see a bird flying out of jail. And so it was interesting to us that once people were acclimated to the logo and they recognized the connection, they were fine with it. So I think in the same way, you have a lot of people who I've seen Patriots and the Eagles swoop together for so long, it doesn't bother me anymore, right? Okay. And the question that I have to answer is that a bigger problem in brand management, right? With people who don't know us, if they see it, what does it think, right? What do they think about it? So that's the thing that I'm dealing with. So a couple things I do want to tell you that you can take away is that Swoop will have some role on this campus in perpetuity in the future as long as I'm here, okay? So I don't know what I'm not going to promise you what that role is. I really don't know yet. We're still working on it, right? We're still thinking about it. So Swoop is beloved by a generation of alumni. He's been around for 17 years, I think, or 14 years. He's been around for a while. So, and our university is relatively young, right? And so, so Swoop, is an important part of our culture and our community. It's not going to go away, right? We're not going to tear out the bronzed bird in front of the alumni house. Yeah, no, so that's not going to go away. Now, so there will be some role, and again, we're still processing this. So, I think we have to say, what's the value of the word patriots too, right? What's the value? Which one has a higher value? And we're processing that, analyzing that. There will be some opportunities for some student input into that process as well. And that actually, what you might care about the strategic plan is the strategic marketing plan will outline that process of what's that process going to be. Go ahead.
So that being said, how long do you think it's going to take to put a product out there if we don't figure this out?
Oh, so I think we'll have this figured out by, I've made some commitments. I've showed slides in front of the deans and in front of the cabinet that say that we're going to have this problem solved by February. Yeah, again, it's just a slide to give an outline. So in my mind, that's kind of what I'm thinking this stuff is going to get resolved. So, I'm still putting together my team. don't know what happens. Maybe there's, maybe, but that's kind of the process. So I don't want it to take longer than it needs to. There is a lot of work has to be done because at the same time we are also looking at the corporate brand as well. The university, the logo, the orange square with the star and the UT. We're looking at that. That's 20 years old. Is it time for a refresh? And I think the consensus is yes. And so we do have a unique opportunity to saying, if we design a new athletic logo and a new corporate logo at the same time, can we create a synergy in their design? Maybe we can, maybe we can't. But it's a unique opportunity for us to do that. Usually you're not designing them both at the same time, at least in my experience. Usually the athletic logo is on an independent track from the university logo, and so there's a possibility for synergy there. Again, my team just had a retreat last week actually, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we spent a lot of time just kind of brainstorming and going over some of the things. And we looked at every single Patriot logo that exists, every junior high, every high school, every college, every pro team that has, just to see what's out there. What do the Patriot logos look like? We considered how many schools have eagles as their mascot, and there's a lot of them. A lot of them. So I came from Eagles, and even in the division we used to play in, my old school, like half the schools in the Sooner Athletic Conference are Eagles. It's crazy. So anyway, so it's a good question. I know it's an important question to a lot of people. And again, and I'm not going to give it more weight than it needs, but I do think it has some impact on brand management and also on alumni relations as well. And so I think in the end, we're going to make a decision. We're going to do something. Hopefully, more than 50% of the people will be happy with it. That's a goal for me. So
it's going to be affordable for students, right? I mean, as like the branding.
When you say affordable, what do you mean?
I mean,
are you going to have to drive any of our costs?
No, there is zero plan to do any budgetary. It's a good question. There's zero. No one's told me you're getting extra money to do this, right? So there's no expectation of any new money allocation. So it's all going to be encumbered in the current budgetary process. So, which probably means that some of the UT old logos will be around for a while because it would cost a lot of money to replace everything overnight, right? So it'll be a slower process. So, now I would say that it may be possible that an outside person donates some money for the process. I don't know. I haven't talked to Kent Stuckey, our interim VP of advancement, about that particular thing. Does somebody come in and say, "Hey, I want to donate $1 million to the university for this process"? And if they did, would we take it? Probably. Yeah. So I don't know that. I can tell you, no one's out there soliciting that. No one's out there going and asking for that. So I think if people are out there soliciting money, they're trying to get some improvements for the new business technology building, that sort of thing, and the athletic facilities and other things like that. So. But certainly, we do, like, even it's a good question. So even when my team went on a retreat, right? We went on a retreat to talk about branding. The money that paid for that was donated money. So it was not tuition, what we call designated tuition funds that paid for that. So there's a real good spirit from Dr. Tidwell to not want to spend tuition money on non-tuition things. There's also a lot of state law about it too. Certain your fees and that sort of thing. And I'm learning a lot of stuff. I was at a private school before, so I'm learning a lot about, your various fees. And I think you guys even have a lot of input into some of the fee processes. So, and that money can, by state statute, can only be used for certain things. And so, but I have a lot of confidence in, as much as I've met Dr. Tidwell and known him worked with him closely for 2 months, be able to say that, it's very important for him that we don't do any ancillary stuff on the backs of student tuition.
I have one question. So you talked a little bit about platform development. Is there any specific ideas for maybe a student engagement platform, since we really don't have anything of that nature?
You mean like a bulletin board or an online board, or what would that look like?
I mean,
the answer is no, but that's why we're making the plan. So what's the idea?
I would say something along the lines of like an app that students can use that's comparable. We have Canvas for class,
right?
But we really have a hard time communicating what's going on on campus to drive involvement. I know
Yeah.
it's a big part of the strategic plan that's been talked
Mhm.
about is engagement and how that affects student success. Is there anything?
There's now, I'll put it in the plan. So thank you. Good input. There was not up to this point, so I'll take the idea and run with it.
Another question also.
Yeah.
Have you thought about reaching out to any marketing students for the rebranding? Just curious because rebranding at university doesn't happen very often. It's very exciting.
You know what? That's a great idea. You know, I am very interested, and I was a little bit surprised, but it's okay. You know, my former, where I worked before in my shop, I probably had, you know, we had about 8 full-time people, and I probably had about 20 students at any given time who were in various disciplines, including marketing and whatever. And so I love working with students. They bring fresh ideas. I'm getting older, and I don't know stuff. You know, I mean, I was pretty good with Facebook and Twitter. You know, I tried Snapchat, but there's just no one who I know who Snapchats. It's like I get there's nothing on my feed, right? It's like, and I don't want to do it. I'm like, I'm not gonna make a video of myself all day long. I don't get it. So I'm getting older, and you know, so the answer is yes, absolutely. So if anyone who's hearing my voice wants to be involved, shoot me an email. But we're actively trying to get students involved in our work and things. So we're currently we're moving our marketing team into a bunch of cubes so they can collaborate better. Right now they're kind of in some other offices, and we're trying to get them in the same space so they can collaborate. And I think once we have our space established, then I think we're going to be able to say we have a place for students to come. Right now, I did in my office. So my office is right across from the president. We did have a couple of workspaces put in there for the specific purpose of saying, oh, this is going to be a student workspace. So absolutely, if a student, we're going to build a program to get students involved. If a student is ambitious and wants to get ahead of the curve and shoot me an email or come drop by my office, I'd love to talk to them. So. Yes, sir.
So you mentioned Snapchat. Is there any move to kind of, because we have a large number of students that actually use Snapchat.
Yeah.
Is there like a move going towards like advertising everything on Snapchat now?
Well, the question for Snapchat has always been this for me, and you might be able to tell me more, is that, you know, you can't advertise on Snapchat, but really the better thing to do is to get people who are on Snapchat already, who are broadcasting to their friends to show the great things they're doing at you know, UT Tyler, right? So if you're doing Snapchat and, you know, maybe a sibling or somebody back home, wherever home's at, is seeing you doing something awesome at UT Tyler. So my perception of Snapchat is that that the best type of publicity is going to be organic. So the question is, how can we encourage and empower students to do positive things on Snapchat? Now, of course, it's a double-edged sword, right? So you're Snapchatting, you're like, man, you know, the cafeteria food wasn't great today. I'm going to put that on my Snapchat. And suddenly you can create negative. It's hard to control that. And that's okay, I guess. It's just part of the authenticity of the medium. So Sarah Yosteen is our social media coordinator. She's a lot younger than I am. And so she is working on a Snapchat strategy. I can't tell you what that is, but we do have some people who are working on it. So if you have specific ideas, again, email me or let me know, and I'm happy to either work on them or pass them on to the right person. So it's something we're looking at. Great questions. Anyone else good? Good. Well, thank you. Oh, go ahead. I'll take a clap. Say a clap there. Hey, and in all serious, you know, if you guys see me walking around, you know, identify yourself saying, hey, you know, I'm on the Senate, I represent students, I need this, what about this? And even if it's not in my area, you know, I am a cabinet officer, I sit on cabinet, so I can try to find something. I work for you guys, I really do. I get a decent wage, and so I want to earn it. And so, you know, I work for you guys, and so if you need something, if you have another thing too, even if you have a criticism, you're like, this looks really dumb, why are you doing this? Send it to me. I mean, you can be nice about it if you want to. Even if you're not nice about it, I got a thick skin, right? I'm not going to cry. I'm like, okay, great, it's feedback, I'll use it. So as you see stuff, please reach out. And again, it's an honor to work for you guys. So thank you. I'm going to go home. Yes,
We're wondering if you could maybe send us a copy of the PowerPoint.
Absolutely. absolutely, I can.
All right, now we'll start officer reports. Been doing a lot of fun stuff this week as far as kind of planning around some more specific meetings to get ready for the next student advisory council for the UT system trip. I've got a couple of meetings with some faculty to go over stuff of that nature. I did attend the first of the tuition committees. That's very, very early on phase. We really don't, we're kind of just barely getting our feet wet there, but it's been good so far. I really have nothing more specific for this week, but if there's anything y'all want me to work on specifically, let me know. Ms. President Seeley?
So I haven't heard back from Tammy about midnight breakfast. Still sad about it. I did get a couple interesting emails this week that I kind of wanted to just mention to you guys. Actually, a man, I don't remember who he's affiliated with, but he does leadership sort of training and seminars, and he's been published, done a couple other things. He emailed me about how to get to UT Tyler if we're interested in putting on something for students. He's very expensive to get here, average around $6,000. We don't have that kind of money, but I'm interested in maybe seeing if other departments can do this with us. A second guy, I remember, he is from HuffPost. He's also been published, established person. Anyway, has developed a sort of curriculum that is more casual. I wouldn't say casual. That's a terrible word for this when I tell you what it's actually about. It's like a program for high school and college students about mental health and suicide awareness and prevention, as well as just generally, you're a young adult now. Your parents aren't looking out for you every second. Take care of yourself. But it is sort of more, I believe the phrasing he said is SNL style. I saw a couple of videos of him. Of him presenting at other colleges. I'm still waiting for his team to get back to me on how much it costs to get him here. There's another option where we can purchase the curriculum and purchase the training from him, and we can train RAs, other staff members, whoever wants to be involved, us even, to put on these seminars on campus every year. I was very interested in it, and that's what I've been really focused on this week, is getting back with those people, and hopefully we can get some of those things and contribute to students here on campus.
Secretary McDaniel?
I haven't read anything too important except after this, see me for a verification form. And then anyone else that hasn't gotten one, t-shirt sizes, if you haven't gotten your size, get that. Absence forms, still a lot of people are missing, and I'm not getting any absence forms, so please, if you know your people are going to be missing, let them know. I need one. Oh, no.
Treasurer McLeod?
Okay, well, this week I've been working on the email that I'll be sending out to student orgs for SGAC, so we can get a few more people and spend the money that we have. And we have a pretty large request for SGAC, and hopefully next week I'll have a good update for y'all.
Parliamentarian Hicken?
So this week, my main focus has been on judicial board. They met yesterday and reviewed a few senators. So that's going to be a thing now. I know senators that were in last year. I don't even know if the judicial board met at all the second semester. But if you are missing and you're not turning in absence forms, we're keeping track of it, and we are going to put you up for judicial board because we're trying to meet quorum every week. And that's, if you're not coming, you're not showing up, and you're not contributing to our quorum, and you're actually contributing to us not meeting quorum, then we're going to do something about it. So they will be meeting weekly unless we don't have anybody up for review. So just be turning in absence forms for GA and for your committee meetings as well. Those are also important too.
I'm just going to emphasize that because we do have a lot of interesting new things going on this year. You've seen, I've been in SGA for since my second semester of freshman year, I ever remember having a president of the university and then the vice president come in consecutive weeks. I mean, we're touching on a lot of important stuff. And so we have these important people slated to give presentations and we don't meet quorum, we will lose a lot of clout. So your opinion will not be taken as seriously if that is the case. So I'm very glad that we are able to do that better and more efficiently this year. So, all right. Student voice reports, Houston campus. Yeah, see if they.
John?
Right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm having a technical problem here. There we go.
Whenever you're ready, John. So.
I can't see my own video, but I assume you can see me.
We can.
We can.
I'll try this via audio only. Sorry, Preston.
It's all right. If you just want to start your report, you're good to go. We can see you on our end. So.
All right. So we had a small review, obviously, both Marley and myself with Josh in the previous week. And so what we've been looking to schedule is a town hall item for our local Houston campus. I've actually made accommodations already to have a regular recurring room reservation at the Houston Engineering campus. So we have that now available, both for this forum as well as any other forums that we schedule in the after class hours. We're hoping to set a town hall during the midday hours based upon the current class schedule at Houston Engineering Center. That's what Marley and I have worked on at this point today.
All right, that's awesome. If you will update us on the dates of those, and we'll see if there's anything that we can help y'all with, if y'all need it. And but that's really good to hear that y'all guys are making progress.
Thanks. Sorry about this.
For freshman senators, y'all, what y'all have any input?
Most of the stuff I heard around campus was that people were talking about they didn't really like the way Sodexo was running that, and then also stuff about recycling, because a lot of people were like, hey, there's no recycling on campus, but there is in the UC by Chick-fil-A, but they were saying that they would rather have some in the residence halls because most people won't use it unless it's closer and more available to them.
I'll touch on that a little bit. The previous university president did not want to spend money on a comprehensive recycling program. We are seeing a little bit of a push. It's mostly for efficiency and to cut costs, but we are trying to work on the whole paperless initiative. That will help a little bit in the use of resources area, but I do have actually scheduled meetings over the possibility of a comprehensive recycling program with our VP of facilities. And so that is something that is actually, I will touch on eventually when that does start to roll out. But it's something that has been in the talks for a while. We've been waiting for the right moment, and we're gonna try and get together and see if that's the case now. So I will definitely, I'm glad that that's something that everyone's aware of and wants to do, and not just something that we hopefully hoping that they can. So. Anything else from freshmen? Committee reports, student life.
Either any of you, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so,
We met last week. Yeah, we just talked about what we talked about last week. Yeah, we didn't really do much. So, yeah, that's about it. What are they complaining?
I feel like that's not necessarily accurate representation of how that meeting went.
It's pretty close.
We touched on town halls.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes, we decided how many we would have, one this semester before the proposal is finalized. If any proposal is given from this tuition and fees committee, if there is a proposal that's given to the Board of Regents, we will have more information sessions in the spring before there is a vote on such a thing, so that students are aware of the process that's happening. I got quotes for inflatables for our idea to have an SGA Olympics, like inflatable obstacle courses. They're very expensive. They charge per hour. There is a minimum amount of hours we have to use them. I don't know how we will afford it. But, trial and error. And this Friday, we will have new ideas. You're really not doing me any favors over there.
Communications.
So we did meet this week. We actually sat down and actually designed the t-shirts. So we know what they're gonna look like, and they're gonna be really cool. They're not gonna be bright orange. No offense to whoever did that. We are continuing our meet the EV. Oh, yeah, that's just that's
It's
weird.
exactly.
Whatever. We did that, and so we have two more to do, and then we're gonna move on to the senators. So be prepared to have your picture taken, or you can send it to Abby, I guess, if you don't want that, or we can take it.
We're gonna
We
take
can
it.
probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna
That's fine.
take it here.
Abby, the senators also need to send like a short bio of their seat.
No, I think
Okay.
that I'm just gonna do like, here's your senators for this college, talk to them if you have any issues.
Okay.
No, I'm not, probably not, sorry, Bill. Probably not gonna talk about y'all much.
No, I was wondering
Honestly,
if they
don't
knew.
matter as much,
So
guys.
Okay.
I got you. Yeah. Bio, it's a long bio, they'll just get longer than people won't read it. So
I feel you. Okay.
try to keep it short, sweet.
SGAC.
So last week, SGAC met with the Accounting Society, and we agreed to fund them with $240 to help resources. And we'll be meeting tomorrow to meet with another group they have.
Rules Committee.
So this past Thursday, we went over some more parts of the legislative branch of the Constitution, and then finished out the parts of the executive branch. We changed one duty of the treasurer to where it will not have to send in a report biannually. The financial report won't have to send it into the Patriot Talent. We're just going to put it up online. That way it's available for everyone who wants it to go ahead and find it on their own accord. Probably the biggest thing we did is we changed the amount necessary for quorum to a simple majority of 50 plus 1, 50% plus 1. And was pretty much main stuff with it.
Student affairs.
We had a great meeting. There's a lot to discuss, but we can't really do much. But one thing that we did talk about, and I emailed Chief Metters. I haven't heard back from him yet, but just to try to talk about the parking thing and how we can at least get more notifications sent out. But one thing that I did get some feedback on from Dr. Patterson is that SGA can actually post things about like events happening. So if we know about something that's coming up and we know that parking will be blocked off, we can use any and all of our platforms to promote that. I know we don't have like a huge social media following just yet, but at minimum, if you guys send it to us in Canvas and we go to our constituents, there's at least somewhat more of trying to bridge that disconnect. So that's something we can look at as well too, is trying to get them to communicate to us and us communicate to everybody. Granted, it'd be better if we weren't the middleman, but at minimum, it's at least a 10%
this point, is there any old business? Vice President Seeley?
Motion to partner with CAB and CAB Formal.
All those in favor?
Oh.
Or, no, sorry. My bad. You have, she has 4. Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to partner with CAB for their formal.
Okay, I know this was tabled until Andrew Miller could return and give us more information. And Andrew Miller is not going to be available anytime soon, but he did give me a detailed request from CAB, and I assume that's what y'all needed anyway. So I would like to not delay this any longer. I got an email from him earlier in the week apologizing for him not being able to attend. And CAB has decided they would like SGA to provide a shuttle service for their formal that they have decided will be off campus. Their request is that we use our vehicles and meet in the UC parking lot before the event to take students who don't have transportation off campus to this event and then return them to the UC parking lot later. I have my own opinions about this, but I understand that we have to have a discussion and we agreed we would vote, so let's do that now.
Senator Fresh Hour.
Clarification on when you said our vehicles, like my Toyota 4Runner.
That is correct,
Yes.
and we would have no way to help cover those costs of your
I'm not even
gas.
worried about the cost, it's just not a smart idea.
All right, hey, we got to make sure that everybody.
Point of order.
Let me call on you when you speak. Senator Mosley.
Yes, I don't know if I heard it correctly, but like, it's like 10 miles out, or it's at least 5 miles out. So,
I have no idea. He did not give me a location.
well, yeah, it's a good district.
Senator Dukes.
What would the liability be on the individual? I feel like that's gonna be a pretty big issue. How liability falls.
Yeah.
Vice President.
Before I brought this up to you guys, I asked Josh if this was actually a thing that was allowed, literally at all. And he said, yes, it is. It's the law that you have car insurance. So if something happens, obviously you're supposed to have insurance. That if we vote on such a thing, obviously then it is our choice to be providing this shuttle service. I know my concern is me personally as an individual, I don't feel comfortable asking you guys to be out late at night in a possibly unfamiliar area driving if you don't have to. I don't feel like that's safe for me, and I know how I'm gonna vote on this because I know I wouldn't feel comfortable taking my vehicle out in an unfamiliar area late at night, much less asking you, who I consider to be friends, to do such a thing.
To kind of add on to that, though, SGA has the ability to, and CAB and/or CAB has the ability to, pay for a shuttle. UT Tyler has 2 buses, so they can pay for a driver to do that, or pay for a charter bus. The only potential issue is numbers, is because those can only accommodate so many people at a time, and if this is a campus-wide event, you could be handling a lot of students at one time.
Senator Jacobs.
I don't know if this is appropriate, but is there going to be alcohol served there since it's off campus? Sorry, just like a
Vice President Seeley.
While I don't know if there will be alcohol served, I do assume that that is in the plan because in his email he made a point that the only requirement would be that SGA senators do not consume alcohol at such an event. While he did not expressly say there would be alcohol at such an event, I make no promises in that regard either way.
Josh, isn't it correct that if there's alcohol served that we have to provide actual shuttles? We cannot drive ourselves.
Well, I don't know about that particular answer, but if this is a university function, I don't see there being alcohol served, period. And if there is, I am not aware of that, and I will need to chat with Ashley and figure out what the parameters are for that.
Senator Nagarajan.
So, back in Houston, we every New Year's the temple's like packed for us. So what we do, we rent out school buses, and maybe to accommodate a lot of people just going back and forth, and maybe that would be a better idea instead of just driving there or taking the UT Tyler bus. We'll have like a lot more people getting on and on.
Secretary McDaniel.
The only issue with that is the goal, like the only way that they'll collaborate with us is if we provide the transportation. So that means we would have to drive the buses.
Or pay for
it. I don't know any of y'all that are bus drivers with a license, bus driving license.
Yeah, so to clear up on that, the options stand either, I'm assuming from consensus that it doesn't seem like we are wanting to drive our own vehicles. So the only alternative therefore is to purchase a shuttle service and pay for that. Now we have really no logistical information on the amount of seats, the distance, or the times. And so we would need all of that information if we were to agree to do it. Senator Lunsford.
Okay, I don't know like how this actually works, but like I know when we go on big field trips, we have vans that we can use, and anyone can drive it as long as they are trained, and the training is on campus. So I don't know like what they use, like if that's an outside source or if the university provides those vans, because they're just like regular people. Like I can drive them because I'm trained, but anyone who's trained should do that. But that's what I'm just saying. I don't know.
Senator Johnson.
Okay, so before we shell out any money, I think like we should ask ourselves, not to pour bucket of water on the cab, but we have piss poor turnout at campus events, and this is a campus event 10 miles off campus. So and they're coming to us what like $500, $600 for just one bus, let alone and charter bus. That's out of the question. I don't know how much budget is, but those are expensive. So I think we should maybe get a survey, or they should get a survey. They should come back to us and be like, yeah, this is how many people we think are going to be here, and then talk about it later.
Vice President Seeley.
There was a survey. I gave y'all the results a while ago, and that is part of one of my concerns as someone who's thinking about, SGA might be using money on this. We might be made to go to this event. That survey was given to CAB members. It was put on our Canvas, and we put it on our Twitter. There was no security on the survey that would ensure that you had to be a UT Tyler student to take the survey. Anyone could take the survey more than once, and the results that were given to me left off the results of one of the questions. It was the last question that said if you have any comments, the comment section. That was left off of the results that was given to me. So me personally, I don't think those results are reliable or indicative of whether or not this event should be even happening, much less we should participate in it, because only 9 people out of 106 people said they would definitely not go to such event. But who was the survey given to? Who took the survey more than once? We don't know.
Secretary McDaniel.
Okay, a couple things. One, we had stated that we weren't going to put towards, or we're going to have to put towards any money. So that should be added to the topic already. 2, a couple issues that I have. We had stated that this was going to be mandatory, which means we would all have to go. And I would count you absent if you weren't there. So think hard, and if we decide to pass this, or maybe we can have if we go to like a meeting or something, since Andrew will come, ask him to find another idea for us to do, because that's not possible. So right now, like it's just not impossible. So either we figure out if Andrew can find another idea for us, or we make this an optional event for us. That's the only way I think that you guys have to do it.
Senator Sweetman.
Motion to table discussion until further.
You would need to finish that motion more clearly before I can really start what you say.
Motion to end, or table discussion for next week.
All right, so the motion is to table, it's been motioned and seconded to table this discussion for next week. All those in favor, say
Jacob
aye.
has the floor.
Oh, sorry.
And he has to
Sorry.
defend his motion.
That was great.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you have the floor, sorry.
Yes.
No,
Well, because it doesn't seem like we're getting any leeway here. We don't have enough stuff to support our decision, so why are we continuing the conversation?
I think that the amount of information that we have right now is sufficient for this particular motion. If we want to not approve this motion, make a different motion later on, that is an option. But we don't have to continue to table this motion if you guys have already made up your minds one way or the other.
Secretary McDaniel.
I think a lot of issues are just getting tabled and tabled and tabled. And just like she said, if we're gonna go next week and we're gonna maybe talk to CAB or something like that, and they're gonna say the exact same thing they're telling us before. And so we might as well just get this figured out now instead of tabling it, like we tabled a lot of other things till next week and figure out from there.
Senator Freshour.
Can you restate the very original motion? You mentioned the driving part.
No.
In the motion or
No,
not?
not in the motion.
So the original motion, say it again, please.
Is to partner with CAB on their formal.
And what that would entail is what we have talked about in the discussion. So if we did, let's say we didn't table it and we moved forward with the motion and we passed it. We would partner with them and we would have to agree to that partnership, which is for us to provide transportation, whatever that is that we agree to. And so that is what the motion is right now that is being tabled. Vice President Seaver.
I know, I understand what you're saying, that, it feels like we don't have a lot of information, that we don't like the option that was given to us. I asked Andrew and in their CAB meetings, he said, we tabled it because we wanted a specific list of things that we would need to do in this partnership for this event. This is what they want from us. I asked if there were other things they need. They said that they need to go forward with planning, and as far as planning this event goes, they can't give us a list of things they want from us, and this is what they need. They need transportation for our students to get off campus. And if we feel like providing such a thing that's not using our own vehicles is very expensive, which it is, it's doable, but it is expensive. We would possibly not have, other things other events that we have, or we may have to turn down other groups. Who knows what will happen in the future. But I don't think there's any more information to be had from this, being in contact with Andrew and with CAB throughout this process of them wanting to work with us. That's my opinion. I don't think there's any more we'll get from them.
Senator Johnson.
Yeah, well, he came to us and he basically said that, we could, partner with them or not. They didn't need us because they had funds, so they didn't fund it themselves. So, that's it.
Senator Freshour.
So do we now have to vote on his motion and then?
Yes.
Unless you want, or is she allowed to amend it?
No.
Okay, so since it was seconded, we need to vote on the motion to table the discussion. So at this point is that. All in favor of tabling the motion to partner with CAB until next week, say aye. All those who oppose.
Aye.
I'll clarify that next time. Any abstentions? All right, so the motion to table has been failed. So unless there is any new discussion, we will vote on the motion to partner with campus activity. So all in favor of partnering with CAB for the formal, please say aye. All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions?
Aye.
Okay, so we will not be partnering with CAB on their formal to provide transportation. Is there any other old business? Any new business? Parliamentarian Hickey.
Motion to swear in the new senator.
Do you have the Constitution? Okay. All those in favor of swearing in the new senator, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Any abstentions? Yeah, okay. The last page.
This is what I'm doing. No, it's not. Oh, okay.
Hey Caleb, do you have the Constitution copy?
Did you see?
So at this point, we'll raise your right hand and I'll let you have the secretary on these two sections. Where you can insert yes or no, and I'll see the special. Right, that's it. This one?
There you go.
Please raise. And repeat after me. I, insert your name,
I, Kimberly Hart,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I shall faithfully represent
that I shall faithfully represent
the interests of the student body
the interests of the student body
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
I shall dutifully uphold and preserve
I shall dutifully uphold and preserve
the Constitution and bylaws
the Constitution and bylaws
of the student body
of the student body
while ardently executing the office of
while ardently executing the office of freshman senator
the Student Government Association
of the Student Government Association
at the University of Texas at Tyler.
at the University of Texas at Tyler.
Congratulations. Any other new business? Advisor comments?
I do not have any.
Any announcements? I do actually have one. We're going to be starting to look into the preparation phases for what is called, as part of the City of Tyler Arbor Day. They will actually be hosting one of their events here on campus. And so this is something that if you would like to be involved in, let me know. It's not going to be mandatory by any means, but it's for you to be involved in the logistical process at least. But it's a really big deal that we can get this done at our campus because it's going to be a huge day of service and we directly benefit. So if any of you are interested in that, just let me know. And that's Arbor Day, like for trees. For like trees, arbor, ARBOR.
I don't.
Any other announcements? Secretary McDaniel, if you would commence second roll call, please.
President Tippleman.
Here.
Vice President Seelig.
Here.
Treasurer McLeod.
Here.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
Here.
Senator Lunsford. Here. Senator Jawad.
Here.
Joe. Senator Parrish. Here. Senator Jacobs. Here. Senator Schwab.
Here.
Senator Ward. Senator Floret. Senator Freshar. Senator Nagarajan. Here. Senator Shaka. Senator Bell. Senator Method. I think he's still here. Senator John. He's still here. Senator Sweetland.
Here.
Senator Camarillo.
Here.
Senator Meek. Senator Robertson. Senator Romero. Senator Adams. Senator Daniel. Senator Dukes.
Here.
Senator Farouk. She's here. Senator Jackson.
Here.
Senator Johnson.
Here.
Senator Catherwood. Senator Morrison.
Here.
Senator Mosley.
Here.
Senator Aguilera. Senator Hart.
Here.
Senator Strong.
Here.
Senator Copeland.
Here.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Free to go.
I know, I just didn't think it.
I'm assuming that what happened was